What up, y'all? What up, Mac is? What up, Maniacs? What's up, YouTube? Today I got a story about a Mexican friend from the turf. Welcome to another episode. KM Videos, True Stories.
Was it. I never stopped banging. I started banging hard, then I got so hard till it was a shame.
Welcome to another episode of KM Videos, True Stories. All right, I'm gonna take you back to the 1980s when Roscoe, my road dog Roscoe, introduced me to this youngster named White Boy from the catwalk. He would eventually convert to Rollin 60s. When I went to the county jail back in the mid-80s, man, it wasn't no big old issue, black and brown. You could get a head up fade, you know what I mean? You can bunk with a Mexican, all of that. Gamble, everything. Play sports, but then when the 90s came, that shit was different. You got to bunk with a black, you know what I'm saying? It's on, stay with your race. Everything started to change. So that's what a lot of you guys that are stuck on YouTube that are younger, that's what you guys are stuck. You guys are stuck in today's times. Y'all don't realize the backstory and how LA really was. The black and brown relations. So I would go through the catwalks looking for Roscoe, Easy Low, Bird, Vinny, different homies, right? And I would always find White Boy. White boy not going to school, white boy always into some shit, right? White boy had a black stepfather. So he grew up around the brothers, he grew up around the homies, and there was no Mexican video right there in that immediate area. So he took to the Crips, naturally. When I first met White Boy, I would ask Easy and Roscoe and everybody, like, is this nigga white? Because his name was White Boy, right? And they say, no, he Mexican, but something about him, his complexion, the way he looked and dressed, he didn't seem Mexican to me. He seemed white to me. But nevertheless, he was a Mexican, and he was from the turf. Now, I want to say this. I got a few comments. One guy said, yeah, you get cool when one Mexican, and you forget that they hate niggas, or they'll kill you in a minute. Again, I made a comment earlier about if you're not from Los Angeles County, and you're not from California, you won't understand the dynamics of black and brown. The Crips wasn't founded on race. Bloods wasn't founded on race. They were founded as a movement, as a group of individuals, predominantly black, but no, there was no rule that said no Mexican, no white can join our gang. Yeah, we've been at war, yeah, we've been at odds, we've had fights, but we also, if you're old enough, we grew up with each other. There was no rule that said a Mexican or white couldn't be as down as a brother. And that's just the way it was back then. In certain areas, certain demographics of Los Angeles County, you might have Mexican neighbors if you're black, and vice versa. Might be some Mexicans on the next block or around the corner. You went to school with some Mexicans, either elementary, junior high, or damn sure high school. If you were in the hood, right? So, White Boy, the reason why I'm doing this story on him is to show that there's more than just one cool Mexican that we run across. This one's actually from the turf, so he's representing 60 Crip. And he was with it. He was a youngster, but he was with it. So White Boy, real name, Misiel Cano. I can never forget that name. And I pull up in the catwalks one day, and I see a smoker that I recognize. This guy had been hanging out with the dudes over in the catwalks that I knew, the homies from the catwalk. So I stopped I forget the name of the street. I'll try to look it up. In between 50th and 51st, or in between 51st Street and 51st Place. And I pull up to this alley. I'm like, hey man, what's up? Where the homies at? So he walks over to my car and he's bending down in my car. My car's still running, you know what I'm saying? So, cause I'm in the middle of the street. And out of nowhere, man, this dude just pops up and it's a shotgun at the smoker's head. I'm like, whoa. And I immediately noticed this white boy. The homie had crept up on us. And I had no idea. I didn't see him. I didn't hear him, nothing. I just see this shotgun come like that to the dude's head. I'm like, what you doing, cuz? And he said, this nigga owe me. I'm like, owe you for what? He like, man, I gave this nigga 50 on credit and he didn't pay me. He's playing me like a punk. White boy's still a youngster. So I'm like, damn. And white boy strips this nigga naked. Strips him asshole naked. And when he gets naked, white boy's kicking this fool in his ass all down the street with a shotgun in his hand. I'm like, man, you crazy as fuck. I'm like, go put that shotgun up. Don't go home. He's probably going to call the police on you. One thing that struck me odd about white boy, he's called me big homie. A lot of youngsters ain't gonna call me or other homies big homie, but white boy had enough love for me and respect for me that he called me big homie. And so our friendship was in great standing at all times. And white boy was a down ass homie. He was really down. He's one of the downest youngsters I ever met from the hood. That's just real talk. Next time I see white boy, we in the LA County Jail. Now, he's still a youngster, but they had this program to where the juveniles are in the LA County Jail. I'm in Wayside Minimum Facility. I don't know, man. This might have been early 90s. White boy is still a juvenile, and they have a new juvenile dorm. And these dudes got to do hard labor. I guess when they mess up, because everybody wasn't doing it. When they mess up, they got to carry these big ass rocks from the back of the dorm to the front of the dorm. When they finish, they got to take the rocks from the front of the dorm to the back of the dorm. So when I see white boy, I'm clowning. Like, nigga, you doing hard labor. How much you making? Nah, man, cuz I ain't making nothing. I'm like, you still repping the turf? He like, nigga, this 60 crip. I'm like, all right. If it's 60 crip, nigga, quit carrying them rocks. He like, man, if this fool don't start hurrying up with these rocks, watch what I do. So it's this black dude, and he's carrying rocks with white boy, but he's slow. He's not strong, and he's not a hard worker like this. So I'm telling white boy, man, leave that dude alone, man. Y'all both in the trouble, the hole, or whatever y'all got going on. Stall him out. So white boy gets on him. Man, I told you to hurry up with these rocks. So now they got this long ass, big ass sledgehammer. So white boy he's breaking the rocks. He's breaking them. So I'm imagining, because the rocks was too heavy, that was the part of the whole thing. Break these rocks till you can carry them and move them to the back. So I'm just tripping off white boy every morning. We talk, you know what I'm saying? We talk through a fence. We can't kick it, so we talk through a fence. The homies still represent the hood and everything, and I really like dude. You know, another thing a lot of people always ask me on the live streams, do y'all have any Mexicans from your hood? Yeah, we have several Mexicans from the hood during my tenure. Absolutely. And every one of them that I known was all down. They were all down. Like, wasn't none of them no marks or no punks. You know what I'm saying? And when you have the camaraderie with a Mexican homie from a predominantly black gang, you don't look at them as no Mexican. You don't look at them as another race. You're looking at them as a homie. Them as homies. You know, when the Crips first started, man, you had Japanese, you had Japanese dudes, you had Korean, Chinese, white, Mexican. You know, in LA, it wasn't always divided by race. there was Mexican Crips, Mexican Blood, Mexican Pyrus. Y'all just so young, and y'all from the internet age, where y'all getting a skewed look of how LA really was back in the days. We get out, we run across each other, we kick it, we talk. Next thing I know, the homie white boy is locked up in Wayside with the homie Black Cal, rest in peace. And Cal calls me every other day, and Cal tells me, this is the rumor, this is what Cal tells me. I'm not saying it's true, but I don't believe the homie lied. He said, man, white boy's a down-ass Mexican. I said, yeah, white boy down. He like, yeah, man, he told me he know all y'all. He fuck with y'all. You, Roscoe, your brother, Baby Smack, everybody. I'm like, yeah, that's the homie. So Cal called me back. He said, cuz, man, white boy hit that dude, Fitz, over the head with a mop ring. I'm like, a mop ringer? Who is Fitz? Fitz, the dude that killed Keystone. Green-eyed Keystone, light-skinned Keystone. The homie got on him, cracked him upside the head. I'm like, man, we was just saying white boy down. He like, man, that nigga's down, man. He like, I like this nigga. I'm like, yeah, white boy's down. So my point to you guys was, man, yeah, things are racial, especially in LA. Yeah, black dudes go to prison, all of a sudden we don't like Mexicans. If you didn't grow up with Mexicans, you don't like Mexicans. And I'm sure vice versa. They got their politics. We know how they are toward us, especially when we mess with their women. But you can't judge everybody based on their race. You got to judge them on their background and their upbringing. And this dude grew up with blacks and he represented the turf. He was straight crippin'. He gets shot out of town by his own homies. The own homies rob him, shoot him, and now he got a peg leg. When the homie gets gaffled up, he don't want to tell on the homies. So they end up extraditing the homie to Juarez, Mexico. So white boy got shipped to Juarez, and we would only communicate on Facebook. We talked on the phone a couple of times, but obviously we couldn't see each other no more. And white boy has set up his own mom and pop store over there in Mexico, and he was selling goods. He would get homies and friends from LA to send him stuff to Mexico, and he would resell like beepers, cell phones, Jordans, any type of clothes. He just wanted anything, man, computers, laptops, and he would resell it to make money to live. White boy wanted to come back over to America, but he told me, he said, man, where I live at, they be tripping because I'm a Crip. He said, so I got to play like a Paisa over here. I got to play like I'm from over here. I'm a Mexican from over here. He said, because they might kill me. He said, one time they came in my area and my girl, they jacked my girl up. They were looking for me to kill me. He said, so I'm kind of scared to try to cross back into America. He said, I could get the money and pay to go back across. He said, but I'm scared if they catch me, they're going to kill me. So he basically was trapped in Mexico. In them his own words, he was trapped in Juarez, Mexico. This is what he told me. This is what he posted on Facebook. The homie died in March of last year. Rest in peace, white boy, man. Good homie. Good, solid homie. He looked white, act black, but was actually a Mexican. Hey, y'all click that like button, man. Don't be afraid to leave a comment. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'm out of here, y'all. Salute.